Hi, everyone, my name is Alex, and today I am really excited to share my personal journey of learning English. Learning a new language can be both exciting and challenging at the same time. I know how difficult it can feel when you first start, especially if you are trying to understand grammar, pronounce words correctly, or communicate with others. I remember when I first began learning English, everything felt completely new and sometimes even overwhelming. The letters, the sounds, and the rules of the language were very different from my native language, and it was easy to feel frustrated. I first started learning English when I was about 10 years old in school. At that time, I had very little exposure to English outside the classroom, so most of my practice was through textbooks and memorizing basic vocabulary. I focused on learning simple words and phrases such as colors, numbers, and greetings. Although these exercises sometimes felt repetitive or even boring, they played an important role in helping me build a foundation. Every small step I took added to my confidence. I gradually realized that consistent practice, even in small amounts, was the key to improving my skills. In this video, I want to share not just the challenges I faced but also the methods and strategies that helped me improve. My hope is that by sharing my story, other English learners will feel inspired and motivated to continue their own journey. Whether you are just starting or have been learning for a while, it is important to remember that progress takes time, patience, and dedication. By sharing my experiences, I aim to provide practical insights and encouragement to help you stay motivated and keep moving forward in your language learning adventure. After laying the initial foundation with basic vocabulary and grammar, my journey continued as I entered high school. High school presented a new set of challenges and opportunities for learning English. I realized that memorizing words from textbooks was no longer enough if I wanted to become fluent. Reading passages and writing exercises were helpful, but what I really needed was practical experience speaking and listening to real English conversations. This realization motivated me to look for more interactive ways to practice the language. One of the most important steps I took was joining the English club at my school. At first, I felt extremely nervous. Speaking in front of other students, even just in casual conversation, made me anxious. I worried about making mistakes or pronouncing words incorrectly, and I was afraid of being judged. However, my teachers created a warm and welcoming environment where making mistakes was not only acceptable but encouraged. They reminded us that mistakes are a natural part of learning and that the most important thing was to practice and communicate, rather than to be perfect. The English club became a safe space where I could experiment with the language. During the club meetings, we participated in various activities, such as role-playing, storytelling, and group discussions. I remember one activity where we had to talk about our favorite movies and explain why we liked them. At first, I struggled to find the right words and often paused, searching for vocabulary. But over time, with encouragement from my classmates and teachers, I became more confident in expressing my thoughts. Engaging in conversations about topics like sports, music, movies, and hobbies helped me expand my vocabulary naturally and learn how native speakers structure their sentences. Another key benefit of the English club was regular practice. Unlike occasional homework assignments, the club provided a consistent opportunity to speak English. We met frequently, sometimes weekly, and each session allowed me to practice listening, speaking, and responding in real time. This frequent practice helped me overcome the fear of speaking and reduced my hesitation when forming sentences. I started to notice gradual improvements in my fluency and pronunciation. I also learned important social skills, such as listening actively, asking questions, and supporting others in their language learning journey. In addition, the English club encouraged peer learning, which was very motivating. Seeing my classmates improve and make progress inspired me to continue pushing myself. We often corrected each other gently and shared tips for remembering new words or expressions. For example, one classmate taught me how to use mnemonic techniques to memorize tricky vocabulary, while another suggested keeping a small notebook to write down useful phrases from conversations. These small but effective strategies helped me develop a habit of consistent learning outside of regular classroom lessons. Through my experience at the English Club, I began to understand that language learning is not just about memorizing grammar rules or vocabulary. It is about communication, confidence, and the ability to engage with others. Speaking English became less intimidating, and I gradually felt more comfortable expressing myself in front of a group. I learned to enjoy conversations, even if I made mistakes, and I realized that making errors was actually helping me improve. Overall, joining the English Club was a turning point in my language journey. It helped me build confidence, improve my speaking skills, and develop a sense of enjoyment in learning English. The skills and habits I developed during this time practicing regularly, seeking opportunities to speak, and learning from others became the foundation for my future success in English. These experiences taught me that fluency does not happen overnight, but through consistent effort, a supportive environment, and a willingness to step out of your comfort zone, progress is inevitable. By the time I finished high school, I could see a noticeable difference in my English abilities. I was able to participate in longer conversations, express my opinions more clearly, and feel confident interacting with both teachers and peers. The lessons I learned from the English Club were invaluable, and they set the stage for the next phase of my journey, immersing myself in an English-speaking environment abroad, which would challenge me even further and accelerate my progress toward fluency. After gaining confidence in my English skills through school and the English Club, I decided to take a major step forward in my language learning journey, studying abroad in the United States for my university education. This decision was both exciting and intimidating. I knew that living in an English-speaking country would push me far beyond my comfort zone, but I also understood that this experience could dramatically accelerate my learning. I wanted to immerse myself fully in the language and culture, and there was no better way to do that than living in an environment where English was the primary mode of communication. The first few weeks after arriving in America were overwhelming. Every task, even the simplest ones, required me to use English constantly. Ordering food at a restaurant, asking for directions, talking to classmates, or even buying groceries became real-life language lessons. At times, I felt nervous and unsure of myself, especially when I struggled to understand native speakers who spoke quickly or used slang I hadn't learned before. However, I quickly realized that making mistakes was inevitable, and the only way to improve was to keep trying. Every interaction, no matter how small, became an opportunity to practice and learn. Living abroad taught me that language learning is not only about grammar and vocabulary, but also about understanding cultural norms and communication styles. For instance, I had to learn how to interpret tone, body language, and context in conversations. I discovered that people often use idiomatic expressions, humor, and informal phrases that are rarely taught in textbooks. By listening carefully, asking questions, and observing social interactions, I gradually began to understand these nuances and incorporate them into my own speaking. University life also provided numerous opportunities for practice and improvement. I attended lectures, participated in group projects, and joined student organizations. Each activity required me to read, write, and speak in English regularly. I remember participating in my first class discussion, where I had to share my opinion about a reading assignment. At first, I hesitated and feared sounding awkward, but over time, I became more confident in expressing my ideas. The more I used English in academic and social contexts, the more natural it became. One of the most valuable aspects of studying abroad was the exposure to diverse accents, cultures, and perspectives. I interacted with students from different parts of the United States as well as other countries, each with unique ways of speaking English. This diversity challenged me to adapt my listening skills and become more flexible in communication. I also learned to ask for clarification politely when I didn't understand something, which helped me feel more confident and independent. Daily life in a foreign country also strengthened my problem-solving and communication skills. Simple tasks like navigating public transportation, communicating with landlords, or managing appointments required clear and effective communication in English. These experiences taught me practical language skills that no classroom could provide. Over time, I noticed that I could understand instructions, follow conversations, and interact with people much more efficiently than when I first arrived. Studying abroad was undoubtedly challenging, but it was also extremely rewarding. It forced me to step out of my comfort zone, take risks, and embrace the learning process fully. I learned that fluency is not achieved solely through study. It comes from real-life practice, cultural immersion, and perseverance. By the end of my year abroad, I had not only improved my speaking, listening, and comprehension skills, but I also developed greater confidence, independence, and a deeper understanding of how language connects people and cultures. This experience became a turning point in my journey to English fluency. It taught me that learning a language is a lifelong process, but the most rapid progress often happens when we immerse ourselves fully, face challenges head-on, and make the effort to communicate consistently. Studying abroad showed me that using English in real-world situations is the key to transforming knowledge into fluency, and it inspired me to continue practicing and growing even after returning home. After returning from my study abroad experience, I realized that my English journey was far from over. Although I had made significant progress in speaking, listening, and understanding English during my time abroad, real-world usage continued to challenge me. Today, I use English daily in my job as a programmer, and it plays a crucial role not only in communication but also in professional development. Working in an international environment has provided me with countless opportunities to practice and improve my English in practical and meaningful ways. One of the primary ways I use English at work is through communication with international colleagues and clients. As a programmer, I often participate in team meetings, project discussions, and online chats where English is the main language. I need to explain my ideas clearly, ask questions, and provide updates on my tasks. Initially, I felt nervous about expressing technical concepts in English, worrying that I might make mistakes or confuse others. However, I quickly learned that clarity and confidence are more important than perfection. Over time, I developed the ability to convey complex ideas effectively, using simple and precise language when necessary. In addition to verbal communication, writing in English has become an essential part of my professional routine. I regularly write emails, documentation, and technical reports in English. Writing requires careful attention to grammar, sentence structure, and vocabulary, which reinforces my learning and ensures that I communicate accurately. Preparing written reports also gives me time to reflect on the language I use, helping me internalize new words and expressions. I often keep a personal glossary of useful technical terms and phrases, which I refer to when writing or speaking. This practice has significantly improved both my written and spoken English. Another important aspect of using English at work is learning and adapting to professional jargon and nuances. Every industry has its own specialized vocabulary, and programming is no exception. I had to learn technical terms, acronyms, and expressions that are commonly used in software development and project management. Understanding these terms in context and using them correctly has helped me communicate more efficiently with my team and gain respect as a competent professional. It has also made me more confident when participating in technical discussions and brainstorming sessions. Daily interaction in an English-speaking work environment also reinforces listening skills and cultural understanding. I have learned to pick up on tone, intonation, and subtleties in conversation, which helps me interpret meaning more accurately. Observing how colleagues communicate, including their humor, idioms, and informal expressions, has enhanced my ability to adapt to different communication styles. I have discovered that active listening is just as important as speaking, as it allows me to respond appropriately and maintain smooth interactions with colleagues from diverse backgrounds. Despite reaching a professional level of English, I recognize that language learning is a lifelong process. I continue to expand my vocabulary, learn new expressions, and refine my pronunciation. I make a conscious effort to read technical articles, watch tutorials, and participate in online discussions, all in English. These activities not only improve my language skills but also keep me updated in my field. Using English daily in a professional context has taught me that continuous practice, curiosity, and engagement with the language are key to maintaining and improving fluency. Using English in my job has also strengthened problem-solving, confidence, and adaptability. Every conversation, email, or presentation challenges me to think critically in English, select the right words, and communicate efficiently. I have learned to embrace mistakes as opportunities to learn and to approach every interaction as a chance to grow. The combination of real-world practice, professional engagement, and deliberate learning strategies has allowed me to maintain high levels of fluency and confidence in English. In conclusion, using English in my current work environment is both a necessity and an opportunity. It has allowed me to apply what I learned abroad and in school in real-life situations, develop professional communication skills, and continue growing as a lifelong learner. Every day, I am reminded that fluency is not a destination but a continuous journey, and that consistent effort, practical application, and openness to learning are essential for success in both language and career. Before we begin practicing speaking, it is important to review some key vocabulary words and expressions from the story to improve our English skills. Understanding these words in context will help you communicate more effectively and follow along with real conversations. In this section, we will explore words related to language learning, progress, and personal development. The first word is journey. Journey is a noun that refers to a long process of progress and development over time toward achieving something. For example, Alex says, "I hope that by sharing my journey of learning English, I can inspire other learners in their own language journeys." In this context, a journey is not just about traveling physically, it is about the continuous effort, growth, and experiences involved in learning English. You can use the word journey to describe any long-term personal or professional goal, such as, "My journey to becoming a musician took years of practice and dedication." Next, we have stages, which is a noun that refers to distinct steps or periods that are part of a process. Alex mentions that to achieve fluency, he went through various stages, starting from being a beginner and eventually reaching an advanced level. This word is useful for describing progress in any field. For instance, you could say, learning to cook involves different stages, from understanding basic ingredients to mastering complex recipes. Recognizing stages in your learning helps you break down your goals into manageable steps and track your improvement. The word fluency is a noun meaning the ability to communicate effortlessly and easily in a language, both in speaking and writing. Alex's goal was to achieve fluency so he could use English confidently in academic and professional settings. Fluency implies not only accuracy but also smooth and natural expression. You might use it in sentences like, "I want to achieve fluency in Spanish before traveling to South America," or "Her fluency in French allowed her to work seamlessly with international clients." Another important word is motivate, which is a verb meaning to provide motivation or encouragement that inspires action or effort. Alex mentions that hearing about someone's experience motivated him to try studying abroad. Motivation is a key factor in learning any new skill. You can use motivate in contexts such as, "My teacher's encouragement motivated me to practice every day," or "Stories of successful entrepreneurs motivate me to pursue my own business ideas." The adjective challenging is used to describe something that requires significant mental or physical effort to accomplish because of its difficulty or complexity. Alex explains that the first few months of learning English were very challenging as he struggled to understand even simple conversations. This word can describe a wide range of situations, from academic tasks to personal goals. For example, climbing a mountain is challenging, but it is also rewarding, or learning a new programming language can be challenging at first. Finally, we have regularly, an adverb that means frequently, habitually, or repeatedly. Alex says he regularly participated in the English club to improve his speaking skills. Regular practice is essential for language learning because it helps reinforce knowledge and develop long-term habits. You might say, "I regularly go to the gym to stay healthy," or "She regularly reads English articles to expand her vocabulary." When learning vocabulary, it is helpful to practice using the words in your own sentences, not just memorize their definitions. Try to connect each word to your own experiences, goals, or interests. For example, you could write, "My journey of learning guitar has had many challenging stages, but motivation from my teacher helped me continue regularly practicing to achieve fluency in playing songs." By creating sentences like this, you reinforce your understanding of both the meaning and the context of the words. Understanding these words deeply will not only help you follow Alex's story more easily, but also allow you to express your own experiences and learning journey in English. These vocabulary words are fundamental tools for anyone who wants to share personal stories, set goals, or discuss progress in learning or professional development. Make sure to review them frequently, practice them in sentences, and use them in conversations to strengthen your English skills. Now that we have reviewed the vocabulary, it's time to practice listening and repeating. This part of the lesson helps improve your pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence when speaking English. Listening carefully and repeating what you hear is one of the most effective ways to internalize the language. Let's start with the introduction. Alex says, "My name is Alex, and today I wanted to share my journey of learning English." Listen closely to his pronunciation, intonation, and pauses. Now, repeat after him, trying to mimic the rhythm and tone exactly as you hear it. You can do this multiple times until it feels natural. Next, Alex continues, "I know how difficult it can be to learn a new language, so I hope that sharing my experience will inspire and motivate other learners." Focus on each phrase and the stress on keywords such as difficult, inspire, and motivate. Repeat the sentence slowly at first, then gradually increase your speed to match his natural pace. Now we move to his experience at school. "I first started studying English in school when I was about 10 years old. In the beginning, it was really challenging to pronounce the words correctly." Notice how he links words smoothly and emphasizes important ideas. Repeat the sentence several times, paying attention to the flow of English sounds and how syllables connect. Finally, practice the sentences about his English club and study abroad. "I joined the English club to gain more practice in speaking. For university, I decided to study abroad in America." Focus on clarity and natural expression. Repeat each sentence multiple times until your pronunciation and confidence improve. By practicing listening and repeating in this way, you train both your ear and your mouth to use English naturally. It's important to practice regularly, even for a few minutes each day, and to try speaking out loud rather than silently reading. Over time, this method will help you speak more fluently, understand native speakers better, and feel more confident in real conversations.